Hi there. My name is Tercy Englehart, and I'd like to welcome you to the Unreasonably Grateful podcast, Living in Grace by Joyce. So every week I start my episode with some version of appreciation, thanking you for letting me be a part of your journey and for you being a part of my journey. When I first started this podcast, it was really at the very beginning of our COVID experience, and it was an opportunity to stay connected to people and to share in a way that was more readily available. So I've continued to do it. This is actually my 235th episode. And some of you have been with me that entire time. Others of you, maybe just listening in for the first time, or maybe you pick up an episode every now and then. And I thank you for that. We have some guests visiting, and they were asking me, so what is your episode about? I mean, what is the podcast about? And I said, it's really tidbits of wisdom that I've gleaned over now as this episode is released one day after my 74th birthday, or in Chinese medicine, as my guest informed me, my 75th year of life. And it's those tidbits of wisdom that I've gleaned over those years of recovering from living an addictive lifestyle for 29 years, struggling for 20 years, struggling with healing from sexual abuse and then living with an eating disorder. So while there was a time when I could never have imagined this day, I also every day am grateful for the opportunity to live a healthy life and to make a difference wherever possible and to share from my story that you might learn something that furthers you along on your own journey, like I learned from other people before me sharing their stories. So, thank you, thank you, thank you for being a part of this journey. And I'm grateful to have you here. So, I also want to remind you that on Tuesday mornings, I make individual sessions available where it's an opportunity for me as an elder to sit with you to listen and to reflect back what I see and what I hear, which I have learned is almost always a bigger, better, more beautiful version of yourself than the one that we have a tendency to see and to listen to inside of our own minds. So I'm honored to do that. I'm so grateful for the people I have sat with. And if it's something you're interested in, you can sign up on tercyenglehart.com under the topic Work Together. And I look forward to getting to know you more personally. All right, this particular episode is called My 29th Year of Recovering. What I mean by recovering is recovering those broken off pieces of ourselves, those parts, those shards that get kind of left behind as we walk through life and struggle with wounds, hurts, um, damages, those we've caused and those that have been caused to us. So I'm so grateful for that journey. And 29 years seems like a bit of a miracle to me. So I want to share with you the kind of current wisdom that's rising to the surface actually out of my experience today. So I'm a farmer. I'm a dairy maid. I make cheese. We have a small artisan dairy business in northern Idaho where we farm. And today, a couple days ago, one of our cows calved. And today, that cow went down with milk fever. And what that is when their milk comes in and it's such large quantities, it's a strain on their body sometimes. And if they're kind of predisposed to milk fever, as this cow is, it pulls the calcium out and they end up with muscle failure, so they can't stand up. So I literally spent most of the day sitting with my cow. And one of the reminders of that is how important it is on our own healing journey to have someone who can simply be with us. They're not going to fix us or change us or make us right or wrong or blame us. They're simply going to be with us. Just as it's powerful when we can be with people in our immediate circle of friends or family or community, and just be with them, be there. And I got to know my cow actually in a whole new way by just staying still with her. And even though we had guests and there was a draw to go do things and to swim and to show them the area, I chose to stay behind, and I'm so grateful I did. One is I saw the needs of that cow in a new way. I was able to bring her hay, I was able to bring her water. And one time when she tried to get up and fell, I was able to move her new calf out of the way. So I just recognized that sometimes being with is a beautiful expression and version of service, where it wasn't like I had anything to do until I just sat still with, in this case, this animal. And then what there was to do showed up. And I was there and able to do it. So that was one of the things that I learned today. And then one of the other things that I learned today is tonight at dinner, as we were going around and sharing what we were grateful for during grace, I said, for my cow standing up. So this cow had been down for at least 12, 13, 14 hours. And on my last time with her before the vet was due to arrive, the calf had wandered off. So I went to collect the calf because I knew it was stressful for her to have the calf away from her and not be able to get to her. And I tried to lift up the calf, and the calf was like just limp and heavy. And finally, I was like, no. Finally, I just lifted the calf up, kind of bounced her till she straightened her legs. And then I was walking her back to the mother. And all of a sudden, the mother stood up and stayed up. And when the calf got there, the calf began to nurse, to suckle the mom. And I began to express some of the extra pressure that was on her udder from having been laying down. And then she walked off with her calf to join the rest of the herd. And what I learned from that was I want you to consider that there are so many things that we take for granted that we could be grateful for. But it's just the way it is. A cow standing is just the way it is. And so I oftentimes don't think about being grateful for that. Or, for example, if you cut a toe or lose a toe or damage your fingers, all of a sudden you're so grateful for your 10 fingers and your 10 toes. But normally they're oblivious to us. And so I think the lesson here is to look for those things this week in your life that perhaps you're taking for granted because it's just the way it is. And see if you can't get to an underlying feeling of gratitude for those things that are just always there, always supporting you. And yet without them, there would be a big missing. And give thanks for them before something happens or they're not there. And take that on this week, because I think what you'll discover is a deeper sense of grace and gratitude in your life, in just the everyday existence of things. All right, one more thing I want to share. So one of my friends who's visiting me is a woman who she co-led with us many, many years of retreats in Hawaii. And she's visiting, and she has an amazing service to offer, and she's a great resource for you as and me as we grow and we develop and we heal. And her name is Ciela Winter, CIELAWYNTER. And if you go to cielawinter.com, you can be introduced to her and connect with her. And perhaps what she has to offer is something that'll be beneficial for you and help you. So I wanted to give a shout out to her and mention her as well. All right. Have a beautiful week. I look forward to seeing you next week. I'll be here. And I am so grateful for you and for another day of life and my cow standing up.